Money on my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Arrow, and this is another episode in the Bag Talk conversation. What we're going to talk about today, I'm going back. I know I said I wasn't going to do too much remedial stuff on this channel, but moving back to forward because I'm not at the mountaintop yet. I'm on the hill. So I figured I'm going to do a breakdown on things that changed for me so far on my journey. And so this is going to be the first of a 3-part series. We're going to do 3 metric numbers that I have personally experienced and my feedback on those experiences. But first, you need to make sure you like the video. Secondly, you need to make sure you're subscribed if you've been here more than 2 times. And last but not least, thirdly, you need to share this with somebody you care about, because they're not really your friends if you can't talk to them about money. They're not really your family if you can't talk to them about money. The reason a lot of people don't have money is because they're not talking about money, and I'm making these conversation starters and trying to drop as many gems as I can as I'm climbing with you. So let's get to it. So we're going to talk about what changes at $100. Now I got to think back. Like 15 years, like a long time ago. Back to the days, because pre-15 years ago, Ray wasn't even trying to get his life right. Ray was out here in these streets. Ray was spending every dime that came into his person, and he had no money. He was stuck at $0. Like I was my base level of my account. All of them were $0. Now, I will say that my base level of my accounts now really doesn't look like much, but that's just because everything is in investments. I don't believe in holding cash. I don't like cash. I don't like fiat currency. It either needs to be an asset or an income generating asset or an asset. I don't hold anything but assets. So like if you look at my accounts, it's like $150. Like I'd be the worst person to try to take money out of my account because like there's nothing in there. But I keep all my money in assets and I have access to it within 48 hours if it's needed. But like 90% of the time, I don't need it. So, or I've got a dividend payment coming in, which is, kind of what we're building towards after we get all 4 weeks going. Because right now, week 4 is the strong week. Week 4 set. It's not at the level that I want it to be, but it's set. Week 4 is good. I got a good week 4. But with that said, like coming from having an account that you're used to looking at being zero, like literally zero, having a net worth of negative money, because I still had credit cards then. It was terrible. So I had $0 in the bank and negative money. Like is the worst setup I've ever seen. Personally, for me, it was just terrible, dark ages. And I remember when if I had to go get tires, that was something where I was like, oh, I'm never gonna financially recover from this. Just going to get a set of tires, like that was just a months of turmoil, stress, and not getting any sleep. I remember constantly having credit card companies call me because I had multiple credit cards that were maxed out and I hadn't paid them. And I was barely paying them. I was paying them late. I was paying the minimums. It was just bad. And like constantly wondering, where is my money going? Like I was able to keep a roof over my head. I was at least that responsible. But it was like between food, we're going out to the bar all the time, always wanting to go travel. I'm always up for a road trip. I still love road trips, but they're, a different level now. But just not being able to keep it together. Like every time I rolled in to look at that bank, like don't even want to open your bank app. Don't want to look at your bank account. Don't want to get online and log into that Commerce Bank. Don't want to get online and log into that Bank of America. Like closing down bank accounts because you done screwed them up so bad. Bad. But at 25, I hit my rock bottom and I decided I was going to get my finances together. And like that was kind of when I started implementing all the stuff that I'd previously read. Because like I read Rich Dad Poor Dad multiple times at 16. Thought I was doing something because I read it and then didn't act on any of the stuff, and then proceeded to go do all the things that the book told you not to do as I got out into existing, because you find out about girls and then you find out about the club. And the rest is pretty much history as far as the trajectory of most young men. But coming through that and getting to where I am now, I can look back and be like, oh, okay. But I remember when I first got my bank account to $100, and it wasn't easy because like I had all these bills. So it's like all the money's getting eaten up. And then like my finances, I did them completely backwards to the way that I do them now, which now I'll manage debt before I don't pay myself, honestly, just because the numbers are working for me now. Like I got the law of large numbers working in my favor. It's starting to work in my favor. It's not working in my favor, but like we're getting to that point to where like stuff's starting to roll in the right direction of its own volition. Like it's not necessarily so much me. It's like, hey, you've built this thing. The snowball's kind of rolling down the hill. We obviously got some debt to take care of, but that aside, stuff's looking good. So getting to that first 100 for me was it was a chore, because after all the bills were paid, like I'm working my butt off and having like $10, $15, $20 left. I'm like, well, I gotta eat. Also, I'm not supposed to be using these credit cards to do that. Fortunately, during that time period, I was at the start of this, I was still working in the service industry. So I was working at a bar. Like I always had cash. It just went quick. And I never put it in the bank. And then you don't really get checks. So like there was nothing to go into the bank. So I'm sitting out here like making the transition, because around that time, like at 25 that year, I started working at Nebraska Furniture Mart, which was me breaking out of the service industry, which was also a weird thing for me, because you get used to always having cash, and then you got to transition to having a check, which means you don't have money every day. Like there's not constantly a drip of money that you get. You're just like, oh, there's some money. Oh, here's some money. I'm going to walk out of here with couple of $100 in my pocket and like I've got money today. Like, so my mindset started having to change. But putting that first $100 into my account, it gave me a little bit of confidence, because like now I'm looking in the account and there's something in there. Like, you know, like you look in there and like, yeah, okay. So I'm not even going to say that it's not much, because to some people $100 is a lot of it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to some people. But for me, it was a confidence boost. It was like, hey, I can do this. And I was like, if you can put 100 in there, I'd probably save up another 100 if I wanted to. And that was the big overarching thing for me, was having that $100 in the bank and being able to, because like my accounts now, my target for my accounts now is still $100 to $150. That's kind of my go-to metric. I'm like, I want to have $100 to $150 in the bank at all times, because if I need it, I can scrounge up cash from my bank accounts and I can piece together maybe probably $1,000. Like it's not the end of the world. Now I know a lot of people out there like to flex or just like the comfort of having a lot of cash in the bank. I don't, because of how much money I make off my assets. Like, I'm also working my way towards replacing my W-2 income. So it's important to me it's more important to me to have that going, because I'm going to have a trickle of cash coming in anyway. I'm going to be getting paid every week once this project is done of getting this income portfolio built out the way that I want it. In doing that, that's going to, like, now I've just got money coming in plus whatever work I'm doing. The importance of that $100, though, is it's multiple folds. So multiple folds. So the first thing you get is you get the confidence boost. Like, now you got $100. The second thing you get is you get to have a start of an emergency fund. Now, when you don't have any money, emergencies seem to happen all the time. Like, I was always in need of getting new tires. Something was always breaking on whatever car I had. There was always an emergency. But having that $100 and having that goal of constantly either having or getting back to that $100, if an emergency came up, now it's $100 less than what it was, which helped a little bit. Like, I'm still going to be stressing, but you gotta go get tires, and it's going to cost you $500-600. Well, now it's $400 or $500. Still stressed, but slightly less stressed. So there was also that benefit too. The other thing that I started doing once I was capable of saving $100 was I immediately started thinking like, oh, like I could probably put some money away for investments now too, which was one of the things that I really was dialing in on getting started. And I was just starting out on my getting into financial journey. So I was doing everything wrong for what my goal was, because my goal has always been to retire early. My goal is still to retire early, but I was putting, like, my investments started with throwing money into a 401k. I was doing the match, just like what everything said. So it comes out of the check, which was actually better for me because that didn't require me to do anything. And I was bad with money. So if you're bad with money and you're just starting out, like, I manage my money myself very meticulously and very efficiently now. But this is also 15 years down the road, a lot of trial and error, and I found the lane that I'm supposed to be in. I'm going to probably do a video on that, because I see a lot of people who want to, like, force their opinions or force their way of doing things on other people, and, like, I don't agree with that. A lot of the gurus are like, it's the one way, and it's either the standard canned general information that they give to everybody that doesn't work, because generally people either A, don't do it, or B, when they do it, it's not as effective as what they said it was, and then they end up retiring and they're like, oh, I thought I had all this money, but, like, now I got to go be a door greeter at Walmart because of fees and all this other stuff. So I'm gonna do a video on that. That's getting added to. I'm actually making a note of it right now. That's gonna be one of my videos. I found my lane. So I found my thing that is my thing that's interesting to me, that I could do day in, day out, that I enjoy it, and it produces income. So I got in my lane from an investor's perspective. So, like, now there's no reason for me to need those avenues except for tax advantages. But at that first $100, I started thinking about it. Like, I was like, oh, I need to start doing this. And I started doing some progressive steps, which at the time were good, because I wasn't going to be able to invest that money myself, because I would have just spent it. So if they take it off the beginning of the check, cool. Like, I don't have to look at it. It's just gone. It's just what we're doing. And I understand it also, the lack of discipline. The $100 is intro level discipline. That was the third thing that I got out of it. Like, I had to be disciplined to get that $100, because I was used to having $0 in the bank. So to get $100, you're going on. I mean, $100 is a far stretch from zero. Like, even that small step. And it taught me that incremental steps are important. You got to get to $100 before you get to $1,000. A lot of people make these grandiose resolutions, and it's like, I'm going to have $20,000 by the end of the year. And it's like, you have $0 in the bank now. Your baseline is zero. Going from 0 to 20,000, you out there, bro. Like, that's a long way to go. That's a hard trip to just cold turkey, like 0 to 20,000. If you're used to being at 0. But getting to the 100 and being able to sustain that, because it was like, I want to have $100 in my account, and that's going to be my new 0, unless it's an emergency. And being able to do that Game changer. Like absolute game changer. So those are kind of this is a short video. It's not that big a deal. You know, I just wanted to drop this because the other ones will probably get a little bit more in depth, but like, because there's not strategically, there's not a bunch you can do when you get to the $100 mark, but it's important because you have to have a baseline of 0 to where it's like, I've got $100. That is actually important. Like, I'm not going to tell you, like, if you can't get $100 together, scrape together, then like, don't talk to me about what crypto you want to invest in. Don't talk to me about like what dividend. I mean, actually, honestly, if I had $100, I would get into high yield dividends, to be honest. Like, I would do that starting now, just because at least at that rate, you're generating a little bit of income. So like, that would keep me entertained enough to not spend the $100. But still, like, I would say that base level is you have to get to $100 first. And like, you have to be able to sit with that and be able to manage that. And then you move on to the next step. So we're going to close that out on there. This one's not going to be a long-winded video. These will probably be some rather quick hit videos because until we get to larger numbers. And like right now, I've only got 3 of the metrics. Oh, actually, no, I have a couple. There's going to be a few, but these won't be super long. They're just going to be what they are. Like, however long we ramble about it is what it is. But I'm sure as we get to higher numbers, the conversation changes a little bit. Now, be on the lookout for the next one, because we're going to be doing that. Till next time, till next week, it's your boy Reckless Ray and Arrows, Future Financial Strategies. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you've been here more than 2 times. Also, make sure to share this with a friend who doesn't have $100 yet, and let them know that Reckless Ray and Arrow and the Wolf Pack is coming to help them too. We're going to help you get those bags up in 2025. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.